Hello students, once again welcome back to chemistry class. In the previous class we have discussed chemical properties, right? Yes, today we are continuing with the last chemical property, that is displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. What is meant by displacement? Displacement means instead of one element, some other element has to come. Okay, so this type of reaction you can generally represent A plus BC. What is the product? The product is AC plus B. This type reaction is known as displacement reaction. How the metal is displaced? Any particular characteristics is there to A to replace a particular element from BC? Let's check it based on the reactivity series. In the reactivity series, you know that from top to bottom, the reactivity decreases, right? Yes. Let me ask you a question. Who is more reactive when you talk about zinc and iron? Definitely zinc is more reactive because zinc is top coming to when you come down. Okay. When compared to iron and lead, which is more reactive, iron is more reactive, right? Yes. Like same way, from the solution, from a compound, if any element, if any metal wants to replace, the A should be more reactive. Let me tell you a simple activity. In a test tube, you have copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate, the symbol of copper sulfate, CuSO4. This is the copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate solution. To the copper sulfate solution, I am going to immerse an iron nail. A nail which is made up of iron. Nail is made up of iron. The symbol of iron is Fe. Right? Yes. So what happens when Fe reacts with the CuSO4? Like same way here also you can write Fe. In the place of A, it is Fe. Plus Bc. What is Bc? Bc is the metal salt. Who is the metal salt here? Copper sulfate. CuSO4. Right? CuSO4. Both reacts. What is the product? What is the product? The product is, what is the product? FeSO4 plus, who is displaced? Who is displaced? Copper is displaced by iron. Why copper is displaced from the solution? Because copper is least reactive than iron. Look at the place of copper. Copper is here. It is least reactive compared to iron. So, iron is capable to replace copper from the copper sulfate solution. Okay, this sort of reaction, chemical reactions are known as displacement reaction. Let me ask you one more question. If Cu plus FeSO4, Cu plus FeSO4, what is the product? What is the product? Will they show any particular displacement? No. Why? Look at copper and iron. Who is more reactive? Iron is more reactive, copper is least reactive. So this copper is not able to replace iron since iron is more reactive. This copper is not able to replace iron since copper is least reactive. Right? Here, no reaction. No displacement reaction. Okay. So, by heart this reactivity series, okay, and if the question comes like this, displacement, okay, if A is more powerful or more reactive than Cu, then only the displacement is possible. Rest anywhere, no displacement. I'll show you one more example. Zn plus CuSO4. Will the reaction possible? Is the zinc is capable to replace copper? Look at the position of zinc and copper. Will they possess any displacement reaction? Yes. Look at the position of zinc. Yes, it is more reactive than copper. So zinc will replace copper. The copper will be replaced. So zinc sulfate plus copper. Copper is replaced. If what happens if copper plus zinc sulfate, will they show any characteristic replacement? No. Look at the place of copper. Copper is here, zinc is on top. This copper is not capable to replace this zinc since it is not highly reactive. So here also no reaction. No reaction. Okay students, I will show you some activity. The same activity which is there in your textbook. There you will come to know what is displacement reaction, how it is possible. Okay? Displacement reaction. A substitution or displacement reaction is a chemical change in which atoms of one element replace the atoms of another element from the molecule of a compound. Remember this definition. Okay, you have learned from the examples, right? Here, look at here. You have to add iron knife into the aqueous solution of copper sulfate. So after some times you can observe a reddish brown coating has been formed. Why? Yes, the iron from the knife being more reactive than copper, so it displaces it from the copper sulfate solution. So that the reddish brown color has been obtained. Okay, let us go into the another activity. For that, the second activity, you can see 5 beaker. You have to collect 20 ml of water into each beaker. And you have to label 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. To the first 2 beaker, you have to add 5 gram copper sulfate. After that, you can see 3 and 5 you have to add zinc sulfate. So test tube 4 you have to add iron sulfate. Okay, after that you have to add iron fillings to 2 and 5. Then add copper turnings into 3 and 4. Okay, to the first you have to add zinc granules into first beaker. Okay, just allow them to stand. Without disturbing, you have to let them for the rest. Okay, look at the first 2 beakers. You can see the color changes. And rest 3, 4 and 5, there is no particular changes. So what happens? The zinc reacts with the copper sulfate in the first beaker and forms zinc sulfate and copper. Okay, that is why a reddish brown color has been formed. Because the zinc is more reactive than copper. That is why which displaces copper from the copper sulfate solution. Okay, this is what happens in the first beaker. That is why the color has been changed. What happens in the second beaker? Yes, copper sulfate reacts with the iron fillings, right? The iron is more reactive than copper. That is why which displaces copper from the copper sulfate solution. So the copper is displaced and iron sulfate, a green colored iron sulfate is formed. That means the blue color copper sulfate turns to green. Okay. Uses of common metals and non-metals. First let us go to the common metals. Iron is the most commonly used metal. It is used in making big gadgets and in reinforced concrete in conjunction with the cement to construct big buildings, right? It is used for making an object as small as a pen or a nail. Okay, aluminium is another metal that is widely used. It finds that in making household items. Aluminium is also used in making aeroplanes as its density is low as compared to other metal. Aluminium is a wire for making electrical cable because it is cheaper than copper. Okay, and the metals are malleable. We know that metals are good conductors of heat. That also we know. So it is used for making cooking utensils and water boilers. The most important use of copper in its electrical gadgets. It is also used in household wiring. And gold and silver are widely used for making jewelry. Highly reflecting mirrors are made of silver since it reflects about 90% light falling on it. Okay. And metals in the combined form are used in every aspect of life. We know that. Okay, sodium chloride is the main constituent of common salt that we use every day. It is our table salt. Okay, and cement and glass are two commonly used materials. The main constituent of cement are calcium oxide, silicon dioxide, and aluminium oxide. Okay, a very small quantity of iron oxide is also present in cement, that we know. When mixed with water, these react slowly to form a mixture of calcium and aluminium silicates called concrete. Okay, now uses of some common non-metal. Sulfur is a common non-metal and the rest non-metals are nitrogen, chlorine and iodine, etc. So oxygen is used by plants and animals for their survival. Oxygen also supports combustion reactions in factories, homes, like aeroplane and missiles, etc. for the propulsion. And compounds from nitrogen provide nutrients to plant. In order to enhance the growth of plants, fertilizers are added artificially, right? Yes. Chlorine has the ability to kill germs. It is used in water purification. Chlorine. And sulfur is used to make sulfuric acid. Okay, and finally tincture of iron is a solution of iodine in alcohol that has antiseptic properties. It is a good antiseptic properties, and non-metals are also useful in their compound form, like nitric acid is used to prepare nitrate salt. Finally, nitrates of silver and used in photography.